to Let's Play Gran Turismo, episode 20. So, you may remember in the previous episode we completed our second and last of two A-Class events in the GT League, and that was the Gran Turismo Cup. Well, now we are officially going to return, of course, to the special events, and I've already figured out what car I officially want to use for the championship coming up. So we're gonna head over to Mazda again, and we are going to get this. It's not the FD this time though, it is the FC. This is the car we are going to use. So I am basically going to purchase this Mazda RX-7 FC and basically upgrade the fuck out of it. So now of course it is time for us to do some serious tuning to this thing. So, racing muffler, which is also the exhaust, sport brakes, absolutely, engine, fork grinding, no, not really bothered, engine balancing, no, it's not worth it, I'm not going to do that. Oh. Gonna put on the Stage 3 turbo kit, and also put on the racing intercooler, since I did mention, of course, I am basically upgrading the fuck out of this car, so gonna put on a racing gearbox, as this is also the first time I'm notably showing the fully customizable transmission. So to anyone asking, carbon propeller shaft. Yeah, sure, why not? So yeah, that of course is officially everything, except of course for the tyres. Well, I'm basically going to start using the racing tyres now, because officially I'm going to be using these along, of course, with something else. So I'll put on the stage 1 weight reduction, also put on stage 2, and this is what I'm officially going to show you, the racing modification. So I know I didn't mention this earlier on in the LP, but one thing I really like about this game is the fact I'm saying that racing modifications are essentially available to every car in this game except for the Dodge concept car, which, as I have mentioned of course before, is realistically called the Copperhead, and this is one sweet ass livery here at Castrol. So I could use the blue livery, but instead I'm going to use the red patterns, you know, because I think it makes more sense for the Castrol livery to essentially be in red and green than it does in blue and green. But yeah, that is our Mazda RX-7 Savannah FNE3, and also we have lost nearly 350 kilos from all the tuning I've basically done to this thing. But anyways, we are now going to head back over to the race events for our third A-Class event, and also the first of 3 regional championships. The US Japan Sports Car Championship. Japanese and American cars meet head-on. So, 5 races this time, as we've got Trial Mountain Reverse, Special Stage Route 5, High Speed Ring, Grand Valley East and Special Stage Route 11, with both Trial Mountain and Grand Valley East being in reverse respectively. So if we can claim the pole, it is 3 grand. If we can win the championship, that's 20 grand, and also if we can win a race, we get 10 grand. But essentially overall, I will basically be aiming for 70,000 of the maximum 85 that I will probably not win, but we shall wait and see. But anyways, it is now time for the US-Japan Sports Car Championship. Let's see how we go. For this, our first attempt. Also for our first of 5 races in this championship. And also because furthermore, every one of these cars, except for the Copperhead, officially has racing modifications. So essentially overall, it's pretty much imminent that essentially for most events in this part of the game we need racing mods. And also because I've noticed I have the lightest car here. So we have a Subaru Impreza Rally Edition, followed of course by a 96 Corvette, also with a Lancer Evo 4 GSR, and also a Nismo 400R. And at the back we have the Copperhead, who will probably score essentially a big fat 5, I would estimate, from this championship. But anyways, let's see how we go for qualifying. It is now time for qualifying in race 1 of the US Japan Sports Car Championship. Let's see if we can put this car on the pole. I have officially managed to put this car on the pole by 1.5 tenths over the Impreza. Then it was the Lancer Evo 4 in 3rd, followed by the Corvette, and then we had the Nismo ahead of the Copperhead. Since I did mention, of course, that before, the Copperhead is the only car in this game that does not have a racing modification available. But anyways, so since I have the lightest car here, I would probably imagine it will be the nimbleness that will officially get me to victory lane. So, did I do any tuning for the suspension? I don't think I did. Oh, doesn't matter. Well, doesn't matter that much. I mean, surprisingly, my car did actually feel stable. But anyways, that's not important. It is now time to head to race 1 of the US Japan Sports Car Championship, Trial Mountain Reverse. Let us see how we go. For 3 laps around this circuit. Let's see how we go. And already the Impreza is off to a better start than I am. But again, I am managing to catch back up considerably because he has the stronger acceleration. But again, I have the stronger straight line speed. So it is going to be close between us to see who will officially win this race. Considering that Impreza, of course, in the early stages is definitely looking strong. But again, speed for him is going to be a problem, whereas I'm not thinking it's going to be much of a problem for me. And I just bounced off the wall. Considering I do believe the Impreza Rally Edition is essentially... whoa, fuck me. He almost pulled off a dive bomb from the inside. But anyways, as far as I know, the Impreza Rally Edition in this game is essentially the only car that is essentially the only rally car that is officially available in this game, and I just dragged the wall, and the Impreza just gave me a push, but he's battling me through the corners. So we are still scrapping for the lead, boys. We definitely scrapping alright. Apart from saying at the moment it's currently the FC beating the Impreza. As of which it seems like everything at the moment is going well. And I just touched the wall. Considering the one thing I missed in my tuning was the suspension. Well, surprisingly, I actually don't think I need to do the suspension. I mean, it could just be me, but surprisingly, my car actually felt very stable during qualifying, or mostly stable, I should say, because it actually wasn't bouncing around as much as my 3000 GT or my FD. So surprisingly, my car actually feels natural. It's like it's actually not bouncing as much as the previous two cars I used. It actually feels somewhat, what's the word? Natural. Whilst I of course am still battling with the Scooby, and we have definitely got an advantage over the rest of the field. Meanwhile, in last we have the Copperhead, who is basically trailing way the fuck behind everyone else. Considering it is unfortunate on how the Copperhead cannot get a lot of tuning, unfortunately, and I think I just fucked up. But somehow, I'm still in the lead. Bouncing a little bit there off the curbs, but somehow still under control. I'm holding on to the lead. Looks like I'm gonna win. Victory! By a narrow margin over the Impreza, since we have basically been scrapping all race long and basically leaving the rest of the field in the dust. And oddly enough, the Copperhead is just so far back, he didn't even get to finish. He must really be down on power, that Copperhead is. But anyways, I think I know precisely who I'm going to be scrapping with in this championship. Probably the Impreza. But yeah, those are your current point standings after race 1. With me in my sweet ass RX-7. So 10 grand for winning, 1 race down, 4 to go. And will we put this car on the pole again? Probably not. But in the meantime, we shall wait and see. Let's see how qualifying goes, and hopefully it will not go terribly. I know very well my best decision is to pretty much not even give a shit about qualifying for the rest of the championship, because essentially I have pretty much been pulled back on the rope into reality, but also because essentially I made a minor mistake on my qualifying lap, which is precisely why I'm down in 5th, and I am off the pace by 1.1 seconds. So I think I've established that essentially I'm not going to bother with qualifying for the rest of this championship, because I have a feeling my quali position will probably be low. But let's see how the race goes. It is now time for race 2, of the US-Japan Sports Car Championship. Hopefully we can claim some redemption. Also because the only car that was surprisingly slower than me in this qualifying session had apparently turned out to be the Copperhead, considering his car is the only one that does not have a racing modification. Oh, and I'm in the wall. But anyways, I'm now down on the inside. And now we officially have the Turismo up into second at the moment. As I, of course, am getting a nudge from the Corvette. I'm assuming that must be the Corvette Gran Sport that is in front of me with the racing modification. I think that's the Gran Sport racing mod. As I, of course, am trying my best to overtake on the inside, and that is precisely what I do. And I am now up into the lead for the first time before the end of the first lap. As I can see there, the Impreza has officially reached his max speed, and he of course is now being overtaken by the Corvette, assumingly because the Corvette has a higher top speed than the Impreza does. So I would assume he is probably going to fall back a bit, and I pretty much reprised the same mistake that I made in qualifying, even though thankfully at least the start of this lap was not stationary. So heading through the hairpin, everything is under control for the moment. We are definitely going well at the moment. As far as I know, and we of course are now holding on to the lead at the moment, and I've just hit the wall. For the moment, I am still holding on to the lead. Yeah, I'm just thinking about something, don't mind me. Just focus on my Castrol liveried FC, who is currently out in front. And it is now the Corvette up into second, but I'm assuming because the Impreza is at the disadvantage with his top speed. But anyways, it is 2 wins for me. The Corvette finishes in second, then we have the Impreza in third, followed by the Lancia, then it's the Turismo, and the Copperhead actually manages to finish the race this time. So we have now officially got a scrap for for second place in this championship, and it also looks like for both the Turismo and the Copperhead, they are essentially going for their perfect scores of consistently finishing in 5th and 6th places respectively. But we do have a battle for second at the present time between the Impreza and the Corvette. But anyways, there we go. And just going to save the replay. As I essentially keep saving and then removing my replays. Essentially just because I need, need them for the clickbait of these videos. So, it is now time for us to head to the third race of this championship, the high speed ring, and where I would imagine the Scooby is going to be at an enormous disadvantage. But again, I'm not going to bother with qualifying because, as I saw at Special Stage Route 5, my qualifying position was relatively low, so I'm not even going to give a shit about qualifying. Because even though the Impreza has the best car in terms of horsepower, it is also the worst car in terms of top speed. But anyways, it is now time for race 3 of the US Japan Sports Car Championship, High Speed Ring. Hopefully our high speed ring, hopefully our top speed will be quick enough for us to win. As typically at the back we have the copperhead. And I'm already off to a reasonable start, as the Impreza already shoots off into the distance, but again he's not going to be leading for long, because again he still has the disadvantage known as straight line speed, because even though it is the best car in this championship in terms of handling, acceleration and overall horsepower, the one thing that is essentially letting the Impreza down is its top speed. And this is officially where my FC should be able to gain the advantage, unless I do that. But again, I'm fairly confident I will probably be able to overtake him on the straightaway, because essentially overall he does have a low top speed, and that is definitely a disadvantage on a course like this, as both myself and the Corvette Gran Sport are both closing in rapidly, and I of course am sliding a bit through the S-curve, still holding on to the lead at the moment, and the Corvette has just touched the grass. And now we are waiting to see if the top speed is there, and there it is. And I am close to my top speed as well of 300k, but fortunately at least the overtake has worked, and clearly once again that is definitely the copperhead that is trailing way behind. And I would think at this point in the championship he's basically just in it for the experience. So, in qualifying I would probably be at the massive disadvantage regardless, but somehow the Impreza is managing to stay in second in spite of his disadvantage in terms of straight line speed. But anyways, it is race win number 3, as I of course have managed to beat the high speed ring in 3 laps in less than 3 minutes. And once again at the back it is officially the copperhead, as I of course am currently standing on a perfect 27 points ahead of the Impreza. Then it is the Corvette in 3rd, followed by the Lancer Evo 4, or the Turismo is in 5th, and at the back with what is currently a big fat 3 points the Copperhead. So even though the Impreza had a disadvantage in terms of straight line speed, somehow he was still able to hold off the Corvette Gran Sport for second place, but for me, that is now officially my third victory in a row. So we are now achieving the hat trick, which I believe is 3 in a row, but anyways. So we at the moment have definitely got a relatively good scrap for second, and it also looks like the Evo 4 is pretty much going to be secure for fourth. But anyways, so not going to qualify because I know I'll just be last. Also because I know very well the Impreza will go very well in qualifying because of how many corners there are. But anyways, it is now time for the fourth and penultimate race of this championship here at Grand Valley East Reverse, as we are going 3 laps around Grand Valley East Reverse. So, doing okay off the line, and already the Subaru has shot off into the distance, essentially because of his big acceleration advantage that he notably has. And I, of course, almost lose my car to the grass, as the Impreza is right there in front of me, and I just spun. Yep, okay, I fucked up. And I'm gonna have to avoid making that same mistake again. But again, with my car, I should be able to catch up to the field relatively easily unless I keep spinning. But I should be able to catch up to the rest of the field relatively quickly, as I can tell very well the Corvette is catching up to the Subaru, so I'm assuming it must be down to that straight line speed advantage he has once again, and I'm off on the grass. So catching up officially to the Corvette now, as I am now past the Mitsubishi. There of course is the Chevy just behind the Impreza, and I definitely got a good launch off that corner, at least before the hairpin. But anyways, we are now back up into second place. We have come back from the spin. And I have just reached my maximum speed. But ironically enough, so did the Scooby. Oh god damn it. And I spun again. And well, it looks like the monster just gave me a push, but this is probably where I will lose my first race. Oh, dicks. But somehow I still managed to save it. So, unless I know I can pull off a dive bomb that might actually work, I don't think I'm going to win this. But we'll wait and see. Okay, going into the hairpin. Can I get a dive? Yes I can. I'm diving on the inside of the Scooby. And in the end, it is going to be 4 out of 4 for me, going into the final race of this championship. I won that race by 7/10 over the Impreza, and that of course has now officially clinched me the championship with one race to go. So it looks like the Impreza on this occasion probably will finish in second. The Corvette will probably be looking comfortable for third. Then it's the Evo in fourth. Well, the Evo 4 probably secure for fourth. And then the two consistent point scorers with their finishes probably looking like they will have the lowest of us all. But anyways, there we go. 4 down, 1 to go. And we of course are now heading over to our 5th and final race of this championship. Since I of course am already mathematically confirmed the champion, as we head into special stage route 11. So the Impreza I think just needs 1 point in order to be secure for second in this championship, and well, the Corvette, he's probably looking secure for third, and well, for the rest of the order I don't think that's going to change. So just gonna skip qualifying because I know I'll just be last. And now of course it is time for our 5th and final race of this championship. Special stage, Route 11. 3 laps, let's see how terrible this goes. I would imagine this is going to be pretty bloody terrible, considering I am an Englishman. And I of course am already up into 5th. And already it looks like the Corvette is officially clear of both the Lancer and the Turismo, who has just dropped back, and we of course are now up into 3rd, whilst I am sliding around the outside at the hairpin. And I'm spinning. I have definitely spun. And is the spinning going to stop? Probably not. Considering that is the most awkward part of this circuit, the bus stop. The bus stop chicanes, I would say, are probably the most awkward part of this entire circuit. Well, if there's ever going to be a race I'll be more likely to lose than at Trial Mountain, with a bouncy boy, it's pretty much got to be here. Because god damn it, this course is hard. Because this course is one sleazy son of a bitch. And getting a slipstream off the Turismo, there's my first lap time. And almost reached my maximum speed. As I'm now back up into 4th, and it looks like the Turismo just made contact with the wall. As I of course am now up into 3rd, but running wide on the exit of the hairpin. And it doesn't look like I'm officially going to win here at Route 11. And that was almost inevitably going to happen. And even the copperhead is closing in on me. Well, I did say, of course, that if there was ever going to be a race I would be more likely to lose at than any other, it would have to be this one. Because fuck me, this course is hard. And the Turismo just hit the wall again. Again, I really don't think points are important at this point. Even though mathematically I have already clinched the championship because I've already won 4 out of the 5 races that are officially held in this championship, and closing in again because of my straight line speed advantage. And that's a wall. I was not going to avoid that wall. And I'm now up into second. The FC is up into second for the first time. And it only took me 2¼ laps to do it. I could still get 5 in a row if I don't spin again. I could still very well get 5 in a row. And this time I did manage to do that second bus stop chicane correctly. We are jostling for first, and we both hit the wall. And the Corvette is catching up to us. And he has just pushed me down to second. Well, guess this is where the winning streak ends. Yep, okay, it's definitely over now. Well, doesn't look like it's going to be a perfect 45 points. But at the very least, I will still get third. If I knew there was going to be a race I would lose at more than anything else, it would have to be this one. Because fucking hell, this course is hard. But anyways. So there we go. Still 4 out of 5 for me. 1 for the Impreza, and also 1 for the Impreza. So these of course are the final point standings here for the US Japan Sports Car Championship. So I have won 4 out of 5 races, with this last one I could only really settle for third in the end. Considering both the Impreza and the Corvette had definitely timed it perfectly to pretty much overtake me. So the Lancer Evo 4 eventually finished in 4th, with the Turismo 400R in 5th, and the concept car pretty much being a big fat 5 in last. So 40, 31, 23, 16, 10 and 5 are your final point standings. And already these AI are still pretty much jostling for position. But anyways, I will be perfectly satisfied to take third from this race, considering there is another prize car I need to win from this. But anyways, let's get through the victory celebrations first. So another 20 grand for winning, and of course we also get a trophy. and we also get a new car. So now we are officially going to check and see what that car is. Considering with most of these special events, as I did say before, you can win more than just a single prize car, and I am essentially trying to win every obtainable prize car in this game. But yeah, there we are. So our first regional event is down, and we still have 2 to go. And the car we get is the FTO LM edition. As the first car we have officially won from this championship. The FTO LM edition is the first car we win from the US Japan Sports Car Championship. And well, obviously, I will essentially have to do this again because obviously I need to go for the other prize car. So let's head back to the championship. But first off, I have a little bit of business I'd like to take care of first. In the return to the US Japan Sports Car Championship, and this time, as you can see up there, after doing some respectable engine tuning as well as suspension tuning, or installments I should say, I have officially managed to score a perfect 45 points. The Subaru Impreza Rally Edition was eventually second with 26 points. Considering notably overall, he was officially second in these final 2 races to the Viper, who eventually finished in third, 7 points clear of the GTO Twin Turbo, and also, quite surprisingly, in the end, we had quite an interesting dice for 5th as well, but on this occasion, the Camaro has officially beaten the Turismo. So, 45, 26, 22, 15, 9 and 8 are the final point standings for this second championship. And hopefully if it's possible we can also... oh yeah, there's that. But hopefully if it's possible we can receive the other prize car. So to anyone asking about what the engine tuning is, well, I basically installed the port polish and the engine balancing, and that of course has pretty much maxed out this car in terms of power. And also don't need to save a replay because I've already got one of those. And let's wait and see if we have got the car. Oh yeah, championship bonus, another 20 grand, up to 225,000. Another gold trophy, and we also get a new car. But will this car be the one I want? We shall wait and see. But if it isn't, then I'm going to be pissed. Hopefully that will not be the case, but anyways. Now that we've done this championship again, we need to check and see if it is the car. Come on. There it is. There we go. And this is the other prize car we win from the US Japan Sports Car Championship. The Dodge Viper GTSR. Very nice. Sweet ass rider is what I call it. So yeah, this is the other car that we win from the US Japan Sports Car Championship. And now of course we are going to save the game. And so, there we go. That was the US Japan Sports Car Championship. Next up is the Anglo-Japanese Sports Car Championship. Stay tuned for more GT1.